Hi folks, Skullgrimman4O back doing another Transformers review, and as you can already see as well, I am wearing green in this video today. I am wearing, of course, the infamous Wreck and Roll t-shirt that I got from last year's Auto Assembly, and I've been wearing this t-shirt now at least once or twice, so I'm pretty sure you've already seen it before. But of course, since it's green, and of course anyone who's going to Auto Assembly at least has to wear something green to get into the theme for this year's convention. Seeing as it was last year's theme as well, but since I don't own that many green clothes, I figured I might as well just at least wear this once due to someone requesting it. But yeah, since we are now in July, it'll be August quite soon. In fact, you'd be surprised at how quickly the year's going by so far. But yeah, we'll be in August soon, and then Auto Assembly will be upon us, so let the good times roll on. But yeah, back for another Transformers review, and let's just sort of continue. This is a continuation of two reviews a little while ago, because if anyone remembers, I reviewed Beast Wars Tigatron Airazor a while ago, and I said that at the end of this video I would get round to reviewing the character in which those two characters eventually become. That's what we're looking at today. Today we're going to be taking a look at Beast Wars Tigerhawk. This is a very fantastic toy. I've heard so many good things about this toy, and I've had this toy for a very long time, and it's a very unique toy of combining two ideas into one toy, and it works so well. But we'll get on to this toy later on. Let's talk a little bit about the character of Tigerhawk. Well, there isn't really a lot to say about Tigerhawk, because in the show he didn't really do a whole lot. He was only in just 3 episodes. But as a character, though, and as his role in Beast Wars, Tigerhawk, and there's no really other real way to say this, is basically one of, by far, the most powerful Transformer in Beast Wars, and probably all in the whole Transformers multiverse, in that he is pretty much made up of the sparks and the bodies of Tigatron Airazor fused by the Vok. And with that, of course, Tigerhawk has many different capabilities and many different abilities that he can use. He's basically a god in a lot of ways. He is a god of epic proportions. He can fly, of course, he has missile launchers under his arms, his wings can be used as shields, and he can control the weather, and meaning that, of course, he has wrist-mounted electric cannons that can shoot out lightning and cause tornadoes and all that other shit. And of course he has chain guns on his wings as well. That's badass as well. But this is one of those toys, this is one of those characters that stands out for being quite unique and has uncanny shamanic abilities to control the weather, and he just manages to manipulate the weather in many different ways he sees fit. Now, about Tigerhawk. If you remember in the episode, what was it? In the episode Other Visits, when Airazor and Tigatron first came in contact with an alien plant, and of course they were witnessing their love together, and of course they were kidnapped by that plant, which of course was a device by the Vok, the aliens in the series, and they vanished into space, and we didn't see them for almost the whole season, until the end of the show, in which you first see Tigatron Airazor, the bodies of both these characters, in the hands of the Vok, as well as their sparks as well. And what the Vok do is they take those two characters, mold them together, including their sparks, and thus you have this character right here. And Tigerhawk first, of course, is interested in mainly destroying Megatron, who of course has upset the space-time continuum and caused a havoc in time and space. So basically, Tigerhawk makes himself clear that he is the emissary of the Vok, and by destroying the dark side and pretty much crippling Megatron as well, he gets captured by Tarantulas in an attempt to try and extract the Vok from his body. And of course, Tigerhawk is pretty much the Vok's puppet at this point, so he has no control over his own mind. But by the end of the episode, Other Victories as well, you see now that Tigerhawk, of course, has regained his memories of both Tigatron and Airazor. So that's an interesting thing as well, is that Tigerhawk, of course, not only is made up of two characters, but he's made up of characters of two genders, so he's made up of both man and woman. In the show, he's voiced by Blue Man Kuma, who of course played Tigatron as well, but what I would have thought would be interesting, though, is that you have Blue Man Kuma as Tigatron, and Pauline Newstone as Airazor. What I thought that they were going to do when I first saw the show many years ago was I thought they were going to combine two voices together, the two voices together of Pauline and Blue together to make this character just add a little bit more of an alien aesthetic to this character, and there is a lot of that in this character as well in the toy. around near the very end of the show, in the Nemesis parts 1 and 2, in the first part, Nemesis, he's just mostly a background character, but of course, Tigerhawk manages to, in the part 2 of the Nemesis, the final episode of Beast Wars, Tigerhawk manages to stay behind and fend off the Nemesis for a reasonable amount of time, only to get blasted by Megatron's fusion cannon. The Nemesis fusion cannon. So, yes, Tigerhawk ends up getting killed by a weapon of the Decepticon ship, which is a shame. And that's a real shame too, because I would have liked to at least seen this character stay around for a while, just to see how much Earth has changed since Tigatron and Airazor have been absent from the series, though, because since the two characters had a very unique relationship between each other, and they both had a huge passion for the Earth, I would have at least liked to see Tigerhawk at least demonstrate his love for the planet as well as Tigatron and Airazor have. But there you go, that's pretty much Tigerhawk's character in a nutshell. I would have liked to see this character do so much more in the show, though, before the show ended, of course. But what are you going to do? But yes, Tigerhawk is, of course, a god of epic proportions. He is the emissary of the Vok. In a lot of ways, he can control the weather, and he is the master of all nature and all weather and all that stuff. He is a god of epic proportions. I've already said that already, but there you go. Now, on to the toy of Tigerhawk. Now, of course, there's one thing I will say about this toy, is that this is a mix. This is a very unique mix of for this toy. This toy, of course, Tigerhawk, is a mix of the Transmetals line, the Transmetal 2 line, and the Fusor line, which, of course, was mainly consisted of 2 animals into 1 animal. And it works so well. And the one thing I like about this toy is that this is a gorgeous-looking toy. I've had this toy for a donkey's age, I believe. I got this back in 1999. At the time when Beast Wars had just finished, Beast Machines just came in, and they were being taken off the shelves. And I was lucky enough to have this toy for many years. You can see that the white plastic is a bit yellow due to it being out in the sunlight too long, but I don't care, it's fine. But I like this toy a lot. The one thing I like about this toy is that, like I said before, it's a mix of both Transmetal and Fusor, in that it's taking bits of Tigatron and taking bits of Airazor very cleverly into this toy. On the front, of course, you have the Tiger pieces, the head and the arms, and of course at the back you have the Airazor parts, meaning the legs and the tail feathers as well, and of course the wings are really nice as well. In terms of gimmicks, he can actually do quite a lot. He actually, of course, in the feet, in the bird feet, of course, if you look here, there are 2 buttons right here. If you press these 2 buttons, the feet can clutch like that. So, meaning, of course, that if Tigerhawk was to fly right by something quite small, he would grab them with just 2 back feet. The one thing as well about this toy is that not only is the plastic as well just a little bit faded as well, the blue shiny transmetal plastic at least has managed to stay here for a while. It's not managed to crumble away, thankfully. One thing as well that I know about this toy as well is that, of course, this toy was used to make Universe Razorclaw in the dark black, the black and purple colours, which work quite well, I think, for this character. The darker version of this character as well. But this toy, of course, has its fair set of gimmicks. Of course, if you look at the wings, the wings are really nicely painted. Of course, the wings are painted with the blue shiny plastic. Of course, on the feathers, it has the blue descending into green feathers, which are quite nice. Dark turning into light colours. I like that a lot. And of course, the wings, of course, the feathers couldn't shoot like missiles. So, of course, if you look right here, just press the button, and of course, it shoots out the missile right there. And one thing as well that I like about this figure as well is that on the hinges of the wings, there are 2 buttons right there, and that the wings can move up and down. So you can actually have these wings moving like birds' wings. That's really clever, I like that. And of course, it took forever to at least try and figure out what this gimmick was for, but on the back you'll see a green button right there. And I figured out what this does. What this does, of course, if you push that button, it actually loosens the wings, and they will fall down. But before you do that, though, one thing I want to just be aware of. When you shoot these wings down, of course... Oh, there goes one of the missiles. Like I said before, this toy, of course, has loaded missiles, and of course, if you fire the green button right here, of course, these missiles will fire, and you will lose them forever. But then again, it's missiles. What's the big deal? I don't really care. So get that out of the way. There we go. And of course, when the wings are down, these back parts will of course be folded out, and of course the missiles will be out like that. So that's really, really cool. And of course, if the missiles just slammed like that out of control, of course the button would hit this top part right here, and the missiles would just fly out. So that's fine, I guess. One thing as well I forgot to mention is that this toy, of course, does come with a battle mask. You can actually have this guy in a third alt mode, but transmetals and the third modes are substantially shit. So I took the mask off to give this toy some show accuracy, and it works, I think. So that's pretty cool. And of course, the mouth can open like that, open and closing mouth, which is cool. And you can see he has a blue tongue. That's mostly from eating a lot of pickled onion Monster Munch, which is kind of cool. And of course, the head has has limited movement in that the head can just move up and down like that, which I guess is fine. But I would have expected this head to do a little bit more. And of course, like Transmetal 2 Megatron, the Dragon Megatron, this comes with a spark crystal. So let me just get this into perfect focus. Right, there we go. If you look right closely, you'll see the spark crystal right there of Tigerhawk, which I guess, seeing as Hasbro are trying something different with their designs to finish Beast Wars off, the Transmetal 2 line was coming to an end, and they wanted to at least finish that line off with something a little bit cool. This is one of those cool ideas, just having spark crystals, which is quite nice. And in a lot of ways, I can see that this spark, of course, is much like Tigatron Airazors. But yeah, this is a fantastic toy. The fantastic beast mode as well. The beast mode of this toy is quite sensational. It works in it works in so many ways, and it just looks cleverly put together. Very unique mix of Fusor and Transmetal 2, and it just looks really, really cool. Now, on to transforming this toy, which of course is a bit of a bother. The first thing I want to do, of course, is just take these out, because if I move these out too much, the missiles will fly all over the place and I'll spend forever trying to look for the missiles. But yeah, and I'm going to be talking a lot of the time throughout the transformation. So the transformation, of course, is probably by far one of the more fun transformations I had with Beast Wars toys whilst growing up. In that you had toys with fairly simple transformations, and then you had some which were mostly just bad transformations, and they were just lazily put together. Whereas this one, at least, is cleverly established. It involves a lot of moving around and a lot of pieces just coming out of the way, and it's clever how well this idea works. And once the final result will eventually come to be, we can see just how cool this figure is in all of its glory. So let me just move a few of the pieces out of the way to make this figure a little more presentable. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves, don't mind me. But I'm glad I took the missiles out there. Oh, one thing as well I forgot to mention. One thing as well before we get onto any pieces of the robot mode. If you look in the place where the shoulders are, you will see, of course, the spark crystal, the maximal spark crystal of this character in the shoulders, which is quite nice, in the chest right there. I would suggest, since it's like piping, you would need to at least shine a powerful LED through it, just to at least get it going. So, there we go. And once everything is moved out of the way and everything is in place, including the legs, because they can be a bit annoying to at least get in motion. There we go. Right. And here we have Tigerhawk in his robot mode. And remember what I said before about this beast mode being cleverly put together? The robot mode is just as good. I like how this has turned out. This, of course, is the robot mode of Tigerhawk, and it just looks really, really slick, really cool, and very powerful. Let's look at the head first of all. Of course, you can see the head sculpt is neatly designed, well detailed. You can't really see it very clearly on the camera, but of course he has showing teeth, and of course he has screw-in eyes, meaning at the back, of course, there's a screw-in hinge right there. But Tigerhawk has a visor, which is quite cool as well, so this guy is armed with a visor. And the one thing as well about the head sculpt is that I like how on the head you can see on one side it's Tigatron, on one side it's Airazor, so it's taking that loving homage of two characters that will eventually become this one guy. So that's kind of cool. Limbs aside, they're all what you would expect. The arms, of course, can rotate the full 360, like so. and heavy clicking right there, and the knees are quite stiff. So that's kind of cool. So you can have this guy doing all sorts of clever poses, and he just looks really, really cool. Despite the fact that this toy has been out in the sun for as long as I can remember, he is somewhat yellow, but you know what? That's fine, I guess. I don't really care that much, as long as the toy still works, I think. So, and of course, these bad boys, of course, the missiles right here. Let's just put this guy down for a second. If you look, of course, right there, you can clearly see there's a button, of course, which you can push that and activates the missiles, which shoot out like that. And as well, you can actually have these two missile cannons doing something in the robot mode. In the left arm, there's, of course, the grabbing fist, the fist right there. You can actually have these two guns, these two big fuck-off cannons, in this fist right here. We'll just try and get this in. There we go. And, of course, he is now armed to the teeth with two fusion cannons of death, in some cases. And it just looks really cool. I can't really say the same thing for this hand, though, because, of course, on this hand, it's just a hand with a grabbing posture and two cannons mounted to it. I remember in the show that Tigerhawk, of course, had two cannons sticking out of this hand, which didn't really do anything, though, but I guess it's that little extra bit, I suppose. But yeah, this is Tigerhawk in one of his godly poses, I suppose, to make this guy look a bit more badass. And it just looks really, really cool. I like how this toy has turned out. I do like the Transmetal concept a lot, and the Fusel concept, while it was a bit of a hit and miss, it worked in a lot of ways. It brought in many different characters. This just works so well. This is how you do a Beast Wars figure, and you make it work. The Transmetal line... The Transmetal side of it and the Fusel side of it just works so well. I really wish, though, that this character did so much more than just show up 2 episodes and then die. Sorry, 3 episodes and then die. Because this character, while he was a god and while he was made up of 2 characters we haven't seen for a very long time, I would have at least liked to see this character get a little bit more development, though. See what his interests are and see just where he stands on prehistoric Earth before the war ends, of course. But I would recommend this toy highly if you're a fan of Beast Wars, if you like the Transmetals line, the Fusels line, and just anything that's very unique in its look. I would recommend this figure highly. I had this figure for so many years, and I haven't stopped playing with it ever since. It's a pretty cool figure. Highly recommend it. So anyway, this has been Beast Wars Tigerhawk, and I am Skullgrim140. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you all soon. Take care.